This is Phoenix with our video pretty much here, pretty much actually followed up to my previous battle fight actually being with the reptiles. The reptiles mostly being things, though, but I'm not already going over the deck profile for it. So at this point, pretty much actually I have no need to go over the deck profile at this point. Pretty much our ideal pretty much actually is just to utilize the reptiles as much as possible to actually get endgame, go into either Venomous to endgame or to DD, essentially to endgame. Pretty much since we can't have an end goal. The only difference is we had two backroom removals instead of Dark Hole and Harvester. Three red cards that can actually help us with the win con. Let's get straight into the matches. Our first one is actually against Exodia. Both in the first two are premise Exodia, so we can skip this part immediately both times. So straight into two matches. Pretty much our hand opening was alright as well, since I was also trying to get my destroy dailies out of the way. Also, here's the misplay I accidentally did at one point. I made some misplays with this also, but I decided to do Duster first since I rather deal with Exodia immediately to figure out if it's really Exodia first off. But I already knew that because of the first turn. Next time, selling our tiles, discard 1, send 1 on the deck. Next time, send 4. Now we have 5. Next time, pretty much actually went straight into King of the Feral Imps. Draw a card. To add this material, now you get a hand, set 1, attack, pass. Opponent decides to go that tile, but I decided to do King Feral. Also through the back row, mostly I had a feeling that also had punishment in hand, so I was like, in my mind, I was like, you know what, I'm not dealing with it. Next I finish draw limit reverse, so it goes to another out. I had a spell. I decided to send a second one to the grave, if I recall right. Since we got one to the grave. King of the Feral, so we can actually get switch it for a second time if needed. Go for Alien this time, since we tend to have some aliens in the grave. Send a second one in, get a first out. Also have a limit reverse, and if we actually get, if they have defense draw, we also have out entirely. Now let's move on to match 2 with against Exodia. You know what? I regret not doing this one because this one's actually a lot more faster than the whole deck details, but because of the matches we're also having, I didn't want to go into too much. That's the main reason why I actually I decided not to do this one for my other 2 since they at least have something to work with. Now let's go hand. Pretty much I made one misplay this whole match. What I top decked by accident. Okay. To be fair, this one I accidentally pretty much actually clicked on that instead of left. It was an accident. I decided to play it out to see what I can do. Get the bench, get this out. Go straight into King of the Feral to actually get my mistake out, but it doesn't matter what I discard this point. I decided to do the King of Reptiles, discard that, get 4. But it was here I was like, you know what, I made one misplay, you know what, let's just work it out. Go to King of the Venomous here. Now pretty much I mainly have 5k beater with 5k defense. Next up, pretty much the King of the Feral. Next up, pretty much actually card order. I was like, wait a minute, they're doing this to me. Next up, pretty much do that. Next up, pretty much actually decided to take away my beat stick. But it doesn't matter since it's game to realize. Which immediately just tells me the face on is not defense draw or anything, but anything I can top deck to level 4 immediately gives me game. So let's move on to the next match. Our next board is against Fiend, aka Destiny. Destiny here is mostly relies most of the cards just for like having Destiny board, having Dark Necropheres in the grave to actually activate most of your effects. To special summon it out. Other than that, there's nothing else to go over with the deck with no win con essentially without that. Let's get straight into match. Next on my hand was alright, since I also got so I'll send that grave. So I have total 4 cards in my deck to grave. Get it so I can go level 4 being King. King of is essentially what you want to go in your turn on mostly, the King of the Ferals. Mostly so you can actually get the Archers in hand. Set 2. I was set 2 though, but I decided not to. Since I wanted to work out with Duster in mind, I decided to go for Reptile. Here's something I should have done immediately. Is I pretty much should have Reptile here, but I was looking at trying to show my Destroy dailies done with. You know what? I can still work this out in my head. Even though the deck is not that good, I have outs. I had the second one, I was like, you know what? I got the second one. I can work with this. So I got Arceus Water Lily. Go for another King of the Pharaohs. To actually plus with the alien. Since I don't have any more Arceus hands. But since I go for a second one, but I decided to go for this. Alien here, bring out the Lord. Pretty much, I could have just gone straight into the other, but I also need to get my Link Fusion. Link Fusion. Show that glass, please. Daily out of the way, I try to remember. Oh, Pendulum, that's the one I was thinking of. I said I go alien here, overextend, go level 8. Just trying to get my normal amount I need in the deck. I still need to get it done, so I said I go for one more alien here. Go for those two, go for a second one. Reptilian. Next I start Limit Reverse. And here's where something interesting. I didn't realize because this damage step happens that I can't proc rise this thing. For some reason, so I'm actually glad I talked that Limit Reverse in mind. Either way, Essential in mind are dead. Next time I decided to go for a king here. And here's where I decided to go spicy. I decided with the Monster Reborn mine, I decided to destroy it, activate both of them since it's not once per turn. Get both of them out. I decided, you know what? I need the king here. Let's get the king and the queen on the field. I decided to destroy it. I had another card. Next up, so Link King actually, the queen actually ends it up, and I decided to end up one of the most iconic monsters of GX era, technically. Of the whole, probably the best mid-season fight of GX for season 3, personally. Because before, for the, at least the first quarter, quarter? Or third of the whole season, at least, villain, at least. It was pretty much actually, like I said, I kind of know for myself to end up the match. I hope pretty much you actually like, comment, and subscribe. It's actually absolutely free if you want to. Peace.